Now, if you ever wondered why Thomas Henderson goes by the name, baseball may seem a long way off, but April 12th is fast approaching as far as the Sox are concerned. Even without the tax break that's tied up at City Hall, the Red Sox are pressing ahead with the Fenway Park facelift. Workmen have begun tearing down the right field roof. The supports will be shored up and 21 luxury boxes will go up there. City officials say the tax break would save the team about $355 grand a year in interest over 15 years. But even without that guarantee, the Sox say that they had to get going to beat opening day. Last week of the year-ender time. Baseball, tonight's installment. Here's Clark Booth.
It was the year they stole summer. More precisely, it was the year a bunch of rapacious bunglers spoiled one of the most beguiling litanies on the calendar, the relentless ebb and flow of a long, leisurely season of baseball. The gates closed in June, fulfilling threats the owners and players had belched at one another for almost a century. Still, no one believed their colossal gall could exceed such ludicrous limits until it happened. For weeks on end, the tiresome negotiations proceeded, making household names of people named Greeby and Moffett and Miller. Never has so little of consequence attracted so much attention. The more sensible players retired to the golf links and kept their mouths shut, which was the only way to defend oneself in an indefensible situation. Others went to watch their kids play baseball on pastoral stretches of sandlot that reminded everyone that the beauty of the game surpasses the menial antics of those who play or run it. After 2 months, they settled and returned to the tawdry business of making much more money than they deserve. And wiser folks expressed their contempt by snubbing them the rest of the season.
I really don't care. The season's over as far as I'm concerned. I don't even know if I'll come to the rest of the games.
What are you doing down here at the ticket office then?
Getting my money back. What do you think?
The strike was the story of the year in sport, but in baseball itself, there were intriguing counterpoints, like the longest game. It matched 2 minor league teams and ended in Pawtucket on what was probably the most charming evening of the season. Somehow there seemed here the message that this is really what the game is all about. Fabulous Fernando Valenzuela was another such example. He seemed to reinforce the shaken baseball myth that the lad from nowhere can one day arrive and lead the big team to the top. Fernando was a vast resource for all of baseball in '81. A more familiar resource was Pete Rose. Undaunted by age, he celebrated baseball's return from the strike by surpassing Stan Musial on the all-time hit parade, and then promptly embarked on the chase of Ty Cobb.
Hello.
Hello.
Pete Rose?
Yes, sir.
This is Ronald Reagan.
How you doing?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you, I've had as much trouble getting this line, or a lot. I think I had to wait longer than you did to break the record.
Well, we were going to give you 5 more minutes, and that was it.
The Red Sox season was launched in the winter with the defection of Carlton Fisk to the White Sox. It closed late in the fall with the retention of Jerry Remy. And there was a message in that positive progression. The start, however, was embarrassing. It was Fisk who beat them with a homer in the opener. A more thorough rebuke could not have been fashioned on Hollywood's grade B lots. It was an odd team by Boston standards, featuring pitching and a varied offense. The result was more consistent baseball and a quality of play that was tight and ultimately more interesting than the old lumbering style. It was a team that plied quietly for its identity, but with the firm patience of Ralph Houck, it made some points before the year was out. In September, a Bulldoggers rookie named Bobby Ojeda bore a no-hitter into the 9th against the Yankees. Just a week later, Rick Miller struck the shot against those same Yankees that aroused Boston to baseball again, if only for a moment.
He gives him a green light on the 3-0. It's deep. Jackson back. He can't get it. Home run, Rick Miller. Red Sox lead 8-5.
They faded, of course, just when they were beginning to stir the deepest pockets of cynicism. The Cleveland Indians, of all people, brought them down at the end. But if the results were typical, the team was not. Something interesting was begun, at least. Overall, baseball's jaded season rang many discordant notes. Little noted was the trend toward erratic and even violent behavior, so strange to this pastoral game. No statistics are kept on the subject, but there seemed a record-breaking surge of rantings and ravings. Teams were spilling from their dugouts regularly, and there was an alarming string of incidents involving players and fans. Plus, outrageous displays of antic behavior on the part of bush brats who are too heavily paid and too loosely disciplined. The tempo of the game was greatly on the rise, and it was not a good sign because it's a game of subtle tempo. From such fertile turf, it was natural that timeless firebrand Billy Martin should flourish. The obstreperous Martin bullied his weak Oakland ball club to the brink of the World Series. It was his kind of year. In the end, though, the series matched those ancient rivals, the Yankees and the Dodgers. Only this time, it was tiresome. They played as if they, too, found it tiresome. It was not much of a series, though many were pleased that at least New York did not win. The Dodgers did, somewhat by default. It ended the season that they stole summer, and for that, everyone was grateful. This is Clark Booth reporting.
Now, Fernando Valenzuela rang in the new year by ringing some wedding bells. Baseball's 21-year-old freshman Flash tied the knot with 20-year-old Linda Margarita Burgos Metri. By the looks of that picture behind me now, they must have had some bad burritos at the reception because they sure don't look happy for a happily wedded couple, supposedly. That'll do it.
Oh, they don't have any money problems, are you?
No, I doubt it.
Okay, Brian. America's first test tube baby is a day old now, and she and her parents are doing just fine. We'll have more on that story after this break.
Loyola, as the Ramblers and their students had an outdoor team out to provide a great send-off to Providence, Rhode Island, where the Ramblers will play top-ranked Georgetown.
Ramblers, Ramblers! Ramblers, Ramblers! Ramblers!
Then the team arrived to be honored for their season of 27-5 thus far. Coach Gene Sullivan has done a terrific job, as we all know.